Go.
Hello and welcome back. It's Home Exercises for Independence again. My name is Monique and I'm a physiotherapist, and it's my pleasure to take you through a few exercises at home with me today. So in case you're a newcomer to this live streaming, we've been going for about 4 weeks, or is it already 4 weeks? I don't know, it's something like that. We've been doing 2 exercise sessions a week, and I've put them up on YouTube, and you can also find them on our Facebook page. And if you want, you can put comments in the comments section of the little Facebook live stream that you can see now. You can send your emote icons, you can give me some hearts or some thumbs up or whatever else they have there, I'm not sure. So it would be great to hear from you. I love to get your questions, and just ask me if you have any particular exercise needs, and I'll try and fit them in. So far we've talked about breathing exercises, we've even done eye exercises, we've talked about strengthening and balance, and we've gone into some different activities for those things. So today I just thought we'd do a series of exercises, just a general workout. And as usual, before we start, I want to make sure that everyone's safe at home. So at the moment, I'm in the kitchen. This is a solid kitchen bench, so I can lean on it. It can take my full body weight. I know that a lot of people are watching this who may not have good balance. So as you know, I can't see you through this screen, and I need you to be safe at home. So set yourself up. Make sure that you have the kitchen bench next to you, a good sturdy chair that won't roll around under you. When we move our chair around, we'll make sure it's positioned against something so it can't shift. The kitchen's usually great because you can do your exercises while you're waiting for your food to cook, or your cup of tea to boil, or whatever you're doing in there. Or you might even have a telephone in there, and you can do some balance exercises when you're chatting on the phone. So kitchens are great places to do exercises. So you can also find things in your cupboards that can help you exercise. And I found, like I showed you in one of the other videos, we've got a couple of identical bags of rice. So these are just 750 grams bags of rice. They can double up as weights. And also I've dug around and found a couple of water bottles and tried to fill them the same length or the same volume. So this is about 1 litre and something. So 1 litre is approximately 1 kilo. So if you have a water bottle hanging around, just fill it up with some water, and you can use that as a weight. And they're usually quite easy to hold on to. So we'll use those soon. First of all, let's get into our exercises, and we're going to do a little bit of stretching and warming up. So we'll start with our head and we'll move down. So with our chin pointing down towards our chest. And remember to breathe. It's always really nice to help you relax and just take some deep breaths in and out. So I'm going to hold my chin to my chest and take some nice inhalations and exhalations. Now, you might like to put your hand on top of your head to give the back of your neck a bit of a stretch. And come back up. Take your chin up to the ceiling, and we'll hold that there. And another breath. Now, sometimes people can get problems with the blood vessels in their neck. So if you're one of those people and you can't turn your head very well, or if you start to see stars when you're turning your head, that means you should stop and just bring your head back to neutral. Otherwise, let's take our chin towards our shoulder, just as far as we can. Look over your shoulder as far as you can. If you're starting to see little white spots in front of your eyes, then bring your face back to neutral. Otherwise, if you can go a little further, you can even just give yourself a little bit of a push on the jaw there, and you can stretch it a little further. Now, looking over my shoulder, I've just realised I don't have my headset in. So here we go. We're going to you just keep on a stretch there. I'm going to fix up my headset and I'll get my cameraman. This is the joy of doing live streaming. Sometimes you forget to do things and you can't edit it out. Remembering to take a nice deep breaths, relax breaths. So they say a good stretch takes about 20 to 30 seconds. I don't think I'm going to take that long, but just so you get the general idea of what we're doing, these are the sort of activities that you can practice later with a stretch. Okay, the next one we're doing is to take our nose and point it down towards the outside of one knee. So point it down, looking downwards, and then just drop your head in that direction. You can put your hand on top of your head and make it a bit heavier, and that gives you a nice stretch down this part of your neck. Remember to take your nice deep breaths in and out. Oh, and come back up. That's a really nice one if you're spending too much time at your computer. So now take your nose to the other knee, look on the outside of your other knee and drop your head. And if you want, you can put your hand on top of your head, give it a bit more of a stretch, and we'll take those nice deep breaths in and out. And come back up and relax. Okay, let's just roll our shoulders around, backwards, rolling backwards. I've got a little dog here in front of me who's just entranced watching me. He's just having he's like, what are you doing? And now we'll go forwards with our shoulders. My cameraman might do a little cameo of the dog for you. You can drop down and show them the dog. See, I've tied up my dog, otherwise he'd be jumping on my lap. Here he is. He's just wagging his tail. Okay, come back to me now. And we've rolled our shoulders forwards and back. Okay, so dogs can be a little trip hazard when we're trying to exercise. So the poor boy, he's tied up. Okay, now the next thing I'd like to do is just stretch my side. So I'm going to take my arm up. Now, I know some of you have trouble getting your arm above your head. This one, I'm feeling a stretch here, and that's what you should be feeling. Now, if you have trouble doing this, I'm going to show you in a minute what you can do. Wait. We'll just even it up, and then I'll show you another version of this for those people who can't get their arm above their head. So I'm having a nice stretch. Okay, so what I was going to show you, you can line yourself up here, or if you have a wall, you can come up against a wall, lean on that. You can actually take your arm up as high as you can. You might be able to get up there like that and just walk a little bit away from the wall. And this way the wall can support you so you don't lose your balance. Okay, so I'm just going to even that up by doing that on the other side. So I can lift my arm up, oops, get it onto the wall. All sorts of things happening here today. And just press out. Okay, so that's a safe way of doing it for you if you have poor balance and maybe some poor range. Another thing you can do, you might have heard of the walking up the wall exercise. So it's the incy wincy spider exercise. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to support my arm, stand back here a bit. I'm going to walk my fingers up the wall. Now some of you have probably had a frozen shoulder, and this is one of the exercises your physio would have given you. Try and walk your hand up the wall as high as you can. Now I can get pretty high, but some of you won't be able to, so just go as high as you can. Now my elbow and my forearm are resting on the wall, and now I can lean into the wall. Just leaning in, so I'm getting a nice stretch around my shoulder. Now if you have frozen shoulder, this is an exercise that's good, and I'll show you another exercise in a second with the kitchen bench for frozen shoulder, but we'll just do this one first. We'll do it on both arms. So I'm leaning into the wall, and I'm getting a nice stretch into my shoulder. Okay, walking it back down. Maybe I'll help it if I have to with my other arm. And now the other side. So we're walking it up the wall. And this time I'm going on this side. So this is, I can get fully all the way up because I don't have a problem with my shoulder, but you might. So just go as far as you can. And then press into the wall. I'm pressing to the side a bit, but perhaps your range might not be as good as mine. You can just press in as much as you can. What I mean by press in is just lean into the wall with your chest. So you get a nice stretch in the back of your shoulder there. And this is a nice one to just stay there for 20 seconds or so. Do nice deep breaths, and you'll probably feel on the out breath that your muscles will release a bit and relax a bit. Okay, that's a goodie. We can do some other exercises on our kitchen bench if we have a frozen shoulder. So coming back over here, over here, I can put my hand on my bench. Just move this out of the way as well. Okay, so hopefully you can see the length of my arm. So I'm just leaning down now I'm leaning down this way so that my shoulder's getting a stretch. I'm just trying to keep my arm straight. So that's another good one if you want to get some more range into your shoulder. So let's just do that on the other side as well. So I'm leaning down, getting a nice stretch through here. Okay, that's probably enough for that. So now we've done our shoulders, we've moved them around. We can do a little bit more stretching in our chair. So I'm going to take my arms up, and I'm going to just go to one side. And I know some of you won't be able to do this. And the other side. I'm giving myself enough room here. Let's go like that. So this is like our painting the rainbow again. Okay, let us have a look at the weights now. So you can start with a lighter weight. If you're not used to using weights, I suggest going just for a smaller bag of something or a tin from your cupboard. If you're used to using weights, you could go for something maybe 1 kilo, 1 to 2 kilos. I've actually got 2 here, so for me, I'm strong enough to use these, but I suggest if you're not used to using weights, then just follow the actions without a weight, or just use something light, maybe 750 grams to 1 kilo. Okay, so I'm sitting up tall in my chair. Let me just place you a bit better here. Sitting up tall in my chair, just so I've got some room, and I'm going to take one arm up down. So I'm doing my biceps, my triceps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm just going to go to 10. It's 8, 9, and the last one, 10. Okay, we're going to also do some of our external rotation. So remember the windscreen wiper exercise I've taught you in previous sessions. We're just going to glue our elbows to our sides, and we're going to go out and in. Out and in. So it's like a windscreen wiper. And this is a good one for your external rotators of your shoulders. I'm just going to do a few more, and then we'll move into extension. Remembering to breathe. Okay, let's do some shoulder extensions. So I'm just going to take my arm straight, and I'm just going back. 2, do 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You can do this both at the same time if you're feeling strong and if you've got the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great. So if you were strong and you wanted to do that and add a balance component, you can stand up and you could do it like this. You could be doing this sort of thing. You have to pay attention to your form, so it also requires you to activate your core muscles. So activating your core muscles. Now that's a whole series of exercise sessions on its own, but the easiest way to think of activating your core muscles is to imagine pulling up your pelvic floor, and you get sort of a tightening around here. So the easiest way to find out if you're actually activating your core is to put your fingertips just inside these little bones here. So all of us, no matter how much body weight you have, you can feel the bones here. And you just drop forward on those bones, and when you pull up your pelvic floor, as in squeeze and lift the muscles from down below here, you can feel a subtle tensioning under your fingertips, under these 2 fingertips. So let's try that. You can do that in sitting. I can feel that happening in sitting. For me, I prefer to do it in standing. And what I'm feeling when I do that is a subtle tightening, a subtle tensioning under my fingertips. So that's called activating your core. And you might know it as Pilates. There's an element of this in all sorts of things, yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, and it's great. It's all about strengthening the muscles around our core, the abdomen. So when you do that as well, one of the benefits is that you can brace your back. So if, for example, if you're lifting something heavy and you know how to activate your core, you're more likely to protect your back. So another benefit is for bladder management. So I've got a whole presentation on that actually on YouTube if you're interested. And maybe one day in one of these exercise sessions I'll talk about continence and managing your bladder. But for today we're going to just do our home exercises for independence. Okay, so what I was saying, all that led to was how to activate your core while you're using weights in standing. So you maintain good posture and you have a nice firm core muscle activation going on there, and you can then do your weights. So, you know, from that you can do all sorts of things. So that is actually a much more in-depth sort of exercise session that I probably will do with you one day, but not today. That's just a taster of that. So let's move on. We've still got these, you know, great water bottle weights that we can use for some other things. So let's do some bone strengthening here. So what we're going to do is hold our weights out in front of us, and we're just going to hold them there and squeeze the muscles in our arms. So what we're doing is stimulating our bones here. Because when you add something heavier than the weight of your own limb, you're actually stimulating the bones to lay down new bone cells. And of course that's only happening because of the presence of gravity. What makes these water bottles heavier than the weight of my own arm is that gravity is dragging them down and I'm trying to hold them up. So that action, that gravity is stimulating my bones to lay down new bone cells when I do this. So you can see I'm sort of tightening and loosening my muscles in my arms, and that's going to help my bones. Okay, whew, that's actually quite tiring. So let's move on to something else. Let's start warming up our hips. So we're going to do some leg exercises in a minute, but we'll start by warming up our hips. So what I want you to do is take your foot out, and I'm going to turn my toes in and turn my toes out. So we're going to go in and out with a straight leg. In and out. In and out. Now, if you focus on this area, cameraman please, I just want you to have a look here at what's happening where my hand is pointing. So if you feel that part of your own body, you will feel the ball and socket of your hip joint rolling around. Now this is a fantastic warm-up exercise for someone who has sore hips. So all you people who suffer with hip pain in the morning from arthritis, just do a bit of this to get yourself going. And you can do that at different angles. So I can take my foot out there, I can bring it in closer, and I can take it over here. So imagine what's happening at this part of my body. This is like the hip socket, and here's the head of the hip going into the hip socket. It's rolling around and it's lubricating the joint. Because inside all of our joints we have fluid and all sorts of structures. And if I roll it around, I'm moving the fluid around, getting it going, warming it up. So that's a really great thing to do first thing in the morning. I know a lot of you people with osteoarthritis really suffer first thing in the morning. So also a heat pack, if you can get hold of one. If you've got a microwave, just put a little heat pack in there and put it on your sore joint. Okay, let's do the other leg. So we've got our leg straight. We're going to point our toes in and out. In and out. In and out, in, out, in and out. And I might just change the angle just so that I know all the joint fluid's getting distributed nicely around my joint surfaces. Okay, I'm going to run out of room because I've got a fridge there. Okay, but I think you get the general picture. That's a really good one for those people who have sore hips. Here's another one I'll show you. So I'm just going to use my kitchen bench to help me balance. So here's one like this. You just move when you're standing up. You're just doing a little hula hoop movement. So I'm going in one direction at the moment, and I'm going to change direction so I can warm up those hips. Now, because we're in standing, I'd like to finish with a few balance exercises. And since we're at our kitchen bench, or if you don't have a kitchen bench there, then use your chair. You can have your chair like this. I've got my kitchen bench, so I'm going to use that. So I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm using the lines of the tiles in my kitchen as a guide. And I'm going to bend my legs, and I'm just taking my hand off my bench to help me feel safe but still get some balance practice. I'm just standing there like that. Both my knees are bent. Okay, and come back up. Put the other foot in front. Line up the feet. I've got my hand above my bench, or if my balance isn't so good, I can hold onto my bench. And I'm bending my knees and just standing there. Now, I haven't tried to count 1 to 10 in any other languages today. I'll do that next time. So if you have a request, send me the requested language that you'd like me to count 1 to 10 in, and I'll give it a go on Monday. Okay, I want to make the exercise a little bit harder. So for me, that means reducing my base of support more. So I'm going to take 1 foot off the ground. I'm going to bend my knees slightly, keep my body up nice and tall, and I'm going to have one hand on my bench. If I feel more confident, if you're at home watching this and you think this is too easy, then you can take your hand above the bench. And we'll just stand there for about 10 seconds. Okay, and the other leg. Bending the knee a little. I'm lifting my hand up above the bench. Now, why do I bend my knee? I know some of you know this from previous sessions, but the reason is when you keep your knee locked and straight, you're just resting bone to bone on your joints. And your brain doesn't have to speak to your muscles as much. What we want to feel is a little bit of wobble in our feet and our ankles. And then we know the brain's sending that balance instruction to the muscles to adjust their length and tension. Okay, so as I was saying, if I was to lock my joint, instead of bending the knee, if I was to lock my joint back like that, not only is it a bit harder on my joints, but it also, I can do it. It's probably easier, in fact. And my muscles are less active in that position. So the brain doesn't really have to control the muscles as much because it's just bone on bone. It's just the joint is resting on itself. So if I bend my knee, it engages my muscles more and the brain works harder and sends the balance messages. So that's why it's more effective to bend your knees when you're doing that exercise. Okay, let us finish off today. Let's just do some relaxation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to settle back so my back's nice and straight in my chair. I'm going to feel like there's an invisible elf pulling the top of my head and pulling my hair up so my neck is nice and straight and my back is as straight as it can be. And I'm just going to sit here and take some deep breaths. My feet are firmly on the ground. Take some nice, deep, relaxed breaths. Now I have my eyes shut and I invite you to do the same. And we'll just take some deep breaths in and out and just listen to the environment around you. And just feel the air moving in and out of your airways. And feel the stability of the floor beneath your feet. And just think about someone that you love, someone that you care about. Not in a worried way, but in a grateful way. Just think about some lovely, happy times that you've had. It might be in the past, might have been 10 minutes ago. And let's just feel a sense of love and gratitude coming over us. And that's part of life, having all those lovely experiences. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's good, challenging, easy, all those contrasts in life. So let's feel grateful now and just be grateful for all the things that are good in our life and the love that we've had with those people. And just feel that any tension in your brow, just let that drop away and breathe it out. And let's just slowly open our eyes. Okay, well I hope you have a beautiful day and just know that you are connected. This is a live stream. As you can see, things can go wrong. I forgot to put my little earpiece in at the beginning. Yeah, look, my little dog there, he's been patiently waiting. He's doing his downward dog. Yeah, it's my privilege to connect with you here. Come back again next time. We're going to run 2 of these a week for now, maybe more in the future. And I would love to get your comments, your feedback. Even if you just press the like button or share it, feel free, send it around to your friends and your loved ones. And send me any requests for exercises or different parts of the body that you're interested in exercising. Any languages you want me to try and learn to count to 1 to 10 in. So I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.